Hello, and welcome to this second session of Church at Home, Friends Encountering Christ. Again, I'm so grateful that you have made this sacrifice and commitment to our Lenten journey through Friends Encountering Christ at Church at Home. So, as Father Mark Hobson encouraged us during his preaching, let's pull up the chair, have a seat, and really encounter one another and encounter, in fact, Christ in the midst of us. We've just heard proclaimed the second gospel reading from St. John's Gospel, this week's The Man Born Blind. This is a great and a classic story, and it is uses all of the dramatic elements of irony and sarcasm and the turn of events. It's a fascinating drama. And as I mentioned in last week's introduction, I am approaching these three gospel stories as each revealing a certain feature of believing, of what is faith. As I mentioned, you might remember, the woman at the well revealed to us that to believe, at least according to that story and John's Gospel, is to know yourself as created in the image and likeness of God, and that you naturally seek to worship. So worshiping, of course, in this case, we're hoping God, but the danger and sin in that case is to worship something lesser than God Himself. What is the feature of faith that this story of the man born blind is trying to reveal to us? Well, as Origen, a great father of the church, has said, faith is seeing as God sees. That is, that we are all one in God. We all belong to one another in God. That's how God sees, that we are all one in God. Well, that certainly fits into our notion of communion and of our church at home and our spirituality of encounter. To see and know ourselves as members of one another. The story of the man born blind was precisely the blindness of the Pharisees. They could not see that we all belong to one another and in God, but they were rather making the distinctions about who is from God and who is not from God, and that this one's a sinner and this one's cast out, and in fact, they cast this man out of the synagogue. You see, they did not see others as in God and belonging to one another in God. This is that we are all connected, communion. This is the fundamental mystery of our life in the church. And it is no mistake that the man born blind was invited to go and wash in the pool of Siloam. There it is, the waters of baptism. In baptism, we are all joined to Christ, and we all become members of Christ. Many members though we are one body in Christ. And so we see in the man born blind and in his healing by the baptism that we go down in the waters and we gain our sight. We gain our sight that may have been lost through sin, right? It seems to me that the Pharisees were interested, who sinned? This man, his parents, that he was born blind? Well, what Jesus is showing us, and through the scriptures, St. John is showing us that no, it is in the vision and the sight that we gain from baptism that we see rightly. It's not that we have lost our sight completely, but that we have, like the Pharisees, who, at the end of the story, you notice, he said, there is your sin. Now that you say you see, you don't see. If you do not see that we are all one body in communion in God, then you are not seeing as God sees. So that this is maybe a challenge for all of us as believers. Do we see as God sees? Or are we not troubled by the blindness of the Pharisee, which makes us overly conscious of the distinctions between ourselves and others? You could see this even in the family, in marriage. Isn't it difficult to maintain the vision of unity between husband and wife? Isn't it difficult for your children as they grow to see that they belong to one another? They are one body in the family. We see it obviously in our church community. We see it in our neighborhood, in our nation, among races and religions and political parties. The divisions and the distinctions are blurring our vision. It is tempting us to sin. Let's recall this invitation of faith. So as the woman at the well invited us to consider our nature as created in the image and likeness of God and our call to worship God, let's see this man born blind calling us to clear up our vision from the sin of separation, isolation, and division to seeing our communion, our community, our unity in God. That's the gift of faith and baptism, and it's a feature of our Catholic faith. Jesus employs in this gospel story, if you remember my Pope Francis's little strategies for accomplishing encounter, Jesus employs in this story the strategy of integration, of making others sense that they belong. That would be something we might be able to bring to our world. Can you and I communicate to others that they do belong to us and that we belong to them? How might that change a difficult relationship that you're having? Before we decide who's right or wrong, we might want to reassure people that we belong to them. We're not going anywhere. We're not abandoning them. We belong to them and they belong to us. With that integration into our love and our lives, we can probably be much more successful in expressing our unity and our faith to others. So, the man born blind, let's open our eyes that we might see as God sees, that we are all belonging to one another in God, in Christ, in the church.
Okay, so good morning, evening, afternoon again, everyone. This is the fourth Sunday of Lent now. We're getting ready, the story of the man born blind. And isn't it interesting how our perspective of a certain person or an event or an occurrence can change depending on a number of other different circumstances or situations? So say, for example, on a particular day we have outdoor plans or a big family picnic or hoping to attend an Indians game with fireworks. So on those days, in those instances, a rainy day can be quite an inconvenience and cause us to readjust and change our plans. But if we're a farmer or we just planted a garden, then rain can be a welcome thing. Or how about a forecast of snow? We're taping this right after the day after the first snow day we've ever had since I've been here at St. Albert's. And if you're a student or a teacher, I'm sure news of an impending snowstorm that's likely going to cancel school is a great thing. But if you're getting ready to fly out on a big vacation or you have to drive the next day, then that blizzard is very much a headache. Perspectives change depending on what else the circumstances, the situations are going in our lives. This man born blind, his miraculous healing, saw everything and everyone in a new light. Then on the other hand, there's the Pharisees, the guys who thought they had perfect sight, the guys who thought they knew it all. They thought they were seeing everything correctly. They thought they had Jesus all figured out. Just look at what they say about him in the gospel. Hey, this man's not from God. He's a sinner. We know sinners can't do such things. We don't know where he's from. They saw Jesus as the rainy day when they had outdoor plans, as the big snowstorm when they had to drive, 3 hours on the freeway that day. they failed to see Jesus for who he was. They failed to see the newness, the possibilities, the new hope that he was bringing. They had sight, but they lacked vision. There's a difference between the two. This saying popped up in one of my little devotional emails I get on a daily basis, and it was, sight is what we see with our eyes, and vision is what we see with our mind. It's a quote by a man named John Wood. Sight is what we see with our eyes, and vision is what we see with our mind. We can see a lot of different things. When we see the different people who are part of our day, we see what goes around us, we can see it all, but we can still lack vision. Sight just sees the outward appearance, but vision sees beyond. Vision sees deeper. With vision, we see with God's eyes. We have sight. Most of you are watching this either on an iPad or a laptop or a TV or something like that. You have sight, you can see. But do we really have vision? And in hearing and reflecting upon this gospel, the story of the man born blind and the Pharisees who really were blind even though they could see, how might Jesus be inviting you and I to not just have sight, but to truly have vision? Are there people, are there circumstances, are there situations in our lives who we might be being called to during this Lent to look at with new vision? Who might be our rainy day, or who might be our blizzard? There's a quote by St. Jose Maria Escriva, a saint that I've come to love and sort of adopt as my patron for the year. And he says this: don't say that person bothers me. Think that person sanctifies me. God's blessings don't always seem to us to be blessings right away. Sometimes God's blessings come via struggle or stress or even failure. Sometimes God works in ways that we understand, and sometimes God forms us in the failures. So what if we started looking at others and the events in our lives through new eyes? What if that struggle that's going on in our lives, what if that difficulty that we're having is not the worst thing that's ever happened to us, but a way that God is refining us? What if that door that just closed is a way of God opening us to something greater? What if that person who's driving us crazy right now, what if that source of our stress or our frustration is really God's way of using that encounter to bring about conversion in us? What if God is saying to us, don't just sit there and complain about all the ways that the other person bothers you. Don't just sit there and complain about all that's wrong with the situation, but look at it and really reflect and think about how you can grow in it. So we pray this week, not just for better sight, but for a better and deeper vision as well.
Hello everyone. The man blind from birth could open his eyes and see Jesus Christ. We Christians are the light in the world. As the light, we are called to shine by doing what is good, right, and true, so that we may bear the fruit of the light. I hope all the people in the world can see Jesus Christ, who is the light of the world, through us. Let's think about we are the light, and also we wear the spiritual clothes. And also, absolutely, there are many kind of light. Maybe dim, maybe dark, or slightly bright, and very bright, and so on. Likewise, I prepared the light, and likewise, dim, rather dark, slightly bright, and very bright. And likewise, brothers and sisters, I hope you can think of your spiritual clothes during first week of Lent.